Welcome to K.Shay. We have a very busy video to get to. It's got a lot of steps. I kind of bit off a big old piece of creative mess. So we're just gonna kind of not do so much intro and kind of just get straight into the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoy this project that I've been really wanting to do for a long time, and I finally found the right enclosure to build this project in. But unfortunately this kind of turned into a huge project that took very many steps and very many days. So let's get to the video. Alrighty, so I found this dome nature piece at a thrift store and I was so excited because it was only $2, but when I turned it around I did see that it was broken and it looks like someone did try to repair it. Looking at it, it looks a little bit fragile, but I think I could build something cool around it that kind of blocks it from view, maybe like a one-directional kind of art piece. I think I want to stick with the nature theme, and I have a very exciting idea that I've always wanted to do. So I think we're going to build a death's head moth nature scene. I try to make it look like I basically just cut a piece of forest and put a dome over it, and then try to deal with the challenge of this back broken piece. Alright, so we are going to make a death's head hawk moth cloche, which I think is the actual proper term, but I'm never going to use that again. So the plan. We're going to have our dome and our base. We're gonna have some kind of sloping kind of nature. We're gonna have maybe 2 moths. I'd like to have 1 moth kind of elevated and then a lot of greenery. So let's get started. So I bought these moths at Michael's and I thought, oh, how cool. I'll be able just to repaint the wings and I'll just slap a little skull on there and we'll call it a day. But as I started looking at more images of the death's head moth, I realized that is straight up not going to happen. They have such a different body type. So I ended up having to take them completely apart. Tried to save all the pieces, but ended up having to completely redo their bodies. So I first shaped their body in aluminum foil and then wrapped it in a thin layer of clay. And then I sculpted some basic features into the clay and then, you know, stuck their antennas and like their little standy bits into the clay, and I let them dry for a while. So then I moved on to the wings, and they are completely the wrong color. So I took them all down to white so I could paint them the correct colors. I decided to do death's head moths because I think they're so pretty and I really like the Silence of the Lambs, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of do something specific to that movie. So now that the bodies of our moths are kind of drier, we're gonna go ahead and simulate some fur because they do have big furry bodies. We're gonna do that by cutting little strips of clay, sticking it onto the hardened bodies, and then kind of just mushing it around with this pointy tool until it gives it the impression of it being furry and having some volume. After I've done all that sculpting, I'm going to let them dry for a while, and then comes the best part, painting them. So I'm not going to use too many colors. There are not really that many colors in real life, so I'm just going to stick to these basic colors. I'm going to start with just their general colors, just laying those down, and then I'm going to go back in and add some detail later. In painting the moths, I wanted to kind of simplify some elements of them. There's a lot of variety of them in nature, so I kind of just wanted what was depicted in the movie, but make it a little bit brighter, a little bit more surreal. All right, now that all the base layers have been done, I'm just gonna go back in and add some highlights and some lowlights, some texture, and just make them look a little bit more alive and fluffy, and also add their signature little skulls in. Right now I'm going to work on the wings. I'm going to start by cutting the wings in half so I can make them more adjustable. And now that I've got them all sorted, I can paint them their colors. And then I took some time to paint all the little details, trying to make them unique but uniform and definitely mothy looking. I definitely wanted to give the impression that, somebody fed them honey and nightshade, kept them warm, and that somebody loved them. Ooh, girl, you need to get some sleep. All right, in developing this little scene of nature, I've decided I want one moth on the very bottom where it's kind of like hanging out, and then I want another moth looking like it had just landed on maybe a stick. So that means I need to go find a stick, which is a great excuse to get me out of the apartment and into nature. So let's go take a little field trip into nature. Yeah. So let's go find a stick. So I found several sticks outside that I think will work great. They all have nice outsidey details. So we are going to start building the landscape for our little guys by removing the old landscape. I'm just going to pull it right off. And then we're going to start anew. We're just going to scrape off as much of the old we can. All right, we're going to take this foam. We're just going to kind of carve it down so it fits the base and fits under the bell. I'm going to press it down on the base a couple times to see sort of where the overlay is, and then continue to work on it until everything fits. And that looks good. I think that's going to be really nice. Right now I'm just going to go ahead and glue the entire thing down and test it one more time, and you can see that the foam hides the crack in the back really well. And this is where I realized that I forgot to record for 15 minutes, so you didn't see any of that. But I've carved the foam to look more like a hillside, and then I built up the back of it using the discarded foam for shaping it down. And now I'm just continuing to add and subtract until I get a nice looking hillside and a nice place to start adding some greenery. I'm gonna add the stick. Just continue to adjust the stick until it not only fits inside the dome but also looks cool. I think that's gonna be it. All right, and that's a happy me. So I have a lot of greenery to choose from, but what I ended up going with was just sort of a moss look, because I kind of wanted to read more forest floor, and then everything went sideways. You can see that I went a little too crazy with the moss, and the thickness sort of pushed the broken piece off. I thought, oh, that'll be easy. I'll just glue it back after I'm done. No problem. Nobody's going to see this anyway. And then this happened. That's bad. So now you can see that there's this nice long crack that goes all the way from the base all the way to the front, and there's no way it's usable now. Okay, so we're at a craft store. I'm gonna do exactly what I said I didn't want to do, which is go buy a brand new dome. That I was being so clever. And I thought I could just beat the system and just not have to spend like $1 bajillion in a brand new freaking dome. When I saw that, sometimes the crafting spirits, whatever, have other stuff in mind. So we're gonna go in, we're gonna, fingers crossed, find a dome that fits the base. And I'm trying to think like what exactly we're gonna do. So I think the plan is we're gonna try to find a dome that matches the circle. You can see right here where it's supposed to fit. So fingers crossed we've just find a dome that fits. Now if we don't find a dome that just fits, plan B is to go find a base that's comparable in size to the circle and basically scrape the entire thing off, re-glue it onto the new base, and just go from there. But fingers crossed that's not what I have to do. Okay, let's go. Alright, just eyeballing this, I think this is going to work. It's a little hard to see right away, but we need to remove the sticker first. It's being kind of a pain in the butt, so we're gonna do an old hack that I use sometimes. I'm gonna take some WD-40, I'm gonna put this in a sink, I'm gonna spray it until it gets full coverage. We're gonna wait like 10 minutes and then it should peel off really, really easily. And then just go ahead and wash with just some dish soap and dry. You can do this trick with pretty much anything that's glass or plastic. All right, so the moment of truth. And it fits great. Alrighty, so this causes a new problem though, because this top moth is too low, so I actually want to move this up quite a bit to fill some of this dead space. I'm going to do that by removing this guy. I'm going to add a different stick to give him some more height. And then his wing fell off, so I had to take a moment to reattach that. And now he looks fine. Looks like he's doing good, so I'm going to go ahead and test that. And that should work great. We're gonna go ahead and put some moss and greenery around it so to make it look more intentional and not like this whole project went crazy right there at the end. All right, add that guy back in and I think we're done. Ooh. Ah. I don't know why I Vanna White this stuff. All right, and then there you go. So you have a really cool, like little slice of pseudo nature that's captured in a glass dome. But this project was actually really difficult. I thought I had a good streak of luck started when I found the original dome and base at a thrift store for like $2. And I wanted to do some form of this project for years. I mean, much, much longer than starting to put these projects down onto video. But so when I saw it at a thrift store, I was so excited, and then everything sort of fell apart. No matter the amount of planning and amount of effort you put into a project, it can still go completely sideways. The upcycle aspect of it didn't work out 100%. But that's okay. I wish now that I had just done the thing and gone and bought a jar itself, because then it could be omnidirectional and it doesn't look like a crazy art project from the back. But I feel like I learned a lot of really good lessons in doing this project. Sculpting wise, I learned a lot. Painting wise, I learned a lot. Sort of like assembling the forest was interesting and challenging. Getting everything to look natural was a little bit of a challenge. But I think it looks really great to, you know, despite all of the ups and downs. And yeah. Yeah, I'm really glad, and I'm really glad it's done, and we can go ahead and put it in the can and it can go up on its shelf, and it'd be awesome. The most important thing is I was able to make one extra one, and now I have now I have a hair clip. So, you know, bonus. So if you enjoyed watching me struggle through this video, go ahead and leave a like. If you would like to see me struggle through more videos, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you around. Bye.